o'clock. Oh, it's 10:01 now. I'm going to get straight into it. So welcome to Reducing Long Sales Cycles with AI. So this is for people who have got a higher ticket product or service, so something that might cost maybe 100,000 or more per year, thereabouts, but this can also be adapted for slightly smaller things too. So we ourselves are a small agency, and we use little bits of little facets of this process in our own. So we sell services for around about $3 to $5 grand a month. And it works really well for us too. So it's really adaptable for sort of agencies and consultants too. So AI can help you hyper-personalize. So that's one of the biggest things we'll be talking about today. And as a result, it can help you speed up long sales cycles and land a steady stream, the dreamland of a steady stream of high-value leads. So let's get on. So just a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know who I am. There's a long-haired version of me, I'm a short-haired version. So I'm an agency owner. I run a small agency. I'm from Birmingham, as you might be able to hear from my accent, those of you from the UK. I am an AI obsessive. So we've been using AI in our processes for a couple of years now. We've had a lot of success with that. But since ChatGPT came out in November last year, I've been spending a good few hours every single day testing tools, trying things out, learning about, meeting with AI founders, learning about all the different parameters of AI and ethics and use cases, and I absolutely love it. I'm now a top 20 MarTech influencer globally, which is exciting. I speak internationally on AI. I've just come back from, Ellie and I have just come back from Miami, where we did a professional services AI workshop and some live prompt engineering. I get 4 to 5 million views per year on LinkedIn, so that's going pretty well. And I speak about AI from a non-technical perspective. So I'm not a technical person at all, and I think it's absolutely amazing that we are basically now all developers. We can build whatever we can imagine using AI, and I find that really exciting. So what I do is I take any sort of tech speak, I translate it into simple speak, and I talk about it on LinkedIn. So if you're not connected with me, please do. I'll post a lot of hopefully valuable content. I have 13,000 subscribers to my AI for Non-Techies newsletter, so that's a longer form version of my posts. I spoke about how we've been using AI within our work, within our client work, and a really good example is we've generated £70 million worth of pipeline over the last 18 months through our AI-enriched lead generation work. So that's our program called Elite Engage, which I'm going to speak about towards the end. Another really important point is I don't do tool sponsorship. So anything I recommend in here is because I personally really like it. I'm not sponsored by any of these tools, and that's a really important thing for me too, in my LinkedIn, in my newsletter, and also in my webinars as well. So you can trust that these are genuinely good tools. There's a few of our clients there as well if you wanted a bit of background. But yeah, what we offer as an agency is we do AI and LinkedIn training, we do copywriting, and then we do our Elite Engage program as well. So the sales process, we're all familiar, we've all done sales. I presume most of us are from a sales background. So we've got, the traditional sales process of prospecting, qualifying, presenting, negotiating, and ultimately closing. High ticket sales cycles are by their nature very long and as a result very expensive, and they're generally pretty inefficient. And AI and automation are the two tools you need to reduce them right down, to make them far more cost effective and far more efficient, and gain a steady lead of sort of MQLs and SQLs much more quickly. So the main problems with sales cycles, and starting from the top, unqualified leads in the pipeline is, of course, an absolutely huge problem, as is targeting the wrong audience. So there's a lot of problems around qualification and around targeting that AI and automation can help with. So if you look at these red arrows along the left-hand side, they're things that AI can directly help with pretty much immediately. Poor sales and marketing alignment, of course, they often live in two different worlds, two opposite ends of the scale. They should be working in sync together, and AI and automation can bring that together. And there's a few tools we'll talk about today that can really help with that. Number of decision makers is something that can't really affect with AI at the moment, but failing to follow up efficiently, we absolutely can. That we can increase the speed at which we can do that and the efficiency of the actual message. and the personalisation of the message too. Lack of tools and automations. So this is what this session is all about. It's starting to use tools for those of you who aren't, discovering new ones for those of you who are, cost of product, and poor salesmanship. So we're going to go through a few things that AI can do that you might not realise around sales training too. And then, of course, we finish up with no demand. Not much we can do really about that unless we're going to talk about demand generation, but that would be an entirely different webinar, but there's plenty AI can do with that. So how can it help? So it can help in so many ways that I could be talking for days and days about all the different use cases. So I've decided to focus on 4 areas today, just to make it something that you'll hopefully learn from and get value from. But it is the initial part of a conversation. These are overviews. If you want to talk in any more detail, please contact me. It's something I absolutely love talking about, and we offer lots of services around it. But today we're going to talk about ICP development. We're going to talk about analysing your sales calls and presentations. My favourite topic, hyper-personalisation. And then we're going to talk about sales training as well. So although there are all these different areas, we're going to focus on just these 4. And for each of these 4, I'm going to show you a really cool tool that I found that I think would be really useful. And then I'll show you some stuff you can do on ChatGPT if you've got a lower budget. Some important points to remember before we start going through these. Always start with your own pain points or you're going to feel overwhelmed. So there are hundreds of thousands of tools being released. There are startups starting and closing really quickly. Things get out of date really quickly as well. It is incredibly overwhelming. I spend hours every single day trying to stay on top of all the different tools. I listen to all the podcasts and watch all the YouTubes and follow all the right creators, and I still can't keep up with a tenth of the tools that are available, even in very specific areas. So start with your pain points and think, right, where do we need help? Where in that sales cycle, where are we having the most problems? And hyper focus your tool search on those specific areas. So start with pains, not with tools. It's about building your own stack as well. So tools shouldn't be used individually on their own. There are some, bigger sort of enterprise offerings, and we'll speak about them later, but at the moment, you can get ahead considerably by using a stack of AI tools, and we'll talk about that too. Tools come and go frequently as well, so you do need to stay ahead. And nominating an AI champion, I think, is probably one of the best ways to do that. And we're going to talk about that in the optimization mindset bit at the end. And I'd say be wary of these big brand all-in-one offerings. So I have noticed, and this is coming from a company that doesn't do any, we don't have any offering ourselves, but I have noticed that there are some big brands. I won't name those big brands, but they have big offerings, but they're not agile enough to keep up with the latest tech changes. So they might offer something that seems like an all singing, all dancing, brilliant, I only need to get one program and not have a whole stack of tools, but they're not taking advantage of the latest technology, and they're very slow to change. So I'd just be quite aware of that. So let's just get straight in. So ICP and personas. A tool I've been using, which I think is excellent for building ICPs really quickly, is the M1 project. So Ellie's going to put, also Claire, Alan, Addy, am I supposed to be hearing audio? Can everybody hear me okay? Could somebody, I'm going to make sure that you can, yep, fine, okay, yep, people can hear me. Okay, I think it might, but the problem might be on your side, Claire. If you maybe leave and come back in, I think that's helped people before. Okay, great. So yeah, the M1 project is excellent. So it's, building ICPs takes a long time, as does building buyer personas. But this is amazing. So you go in, it's about, and I've put pricing on each one. So this is from $49 for one ICP. So it's just a few clicks. So it asks you about just put in your website URL, and then it will analyze the entirety of your website URL. So this is based on you having a website that aligns with your services, which sometimes isn't the case. So if you've got an out-of-date website, you might need to do some tweaking. But if your website is really up to date, this is really useful. So it will auto-complete in detail all of your services, all of your pain points, and then create ideal customer profiles off the back of that, I've never seen anything like it. And it will also create personas too. So you've got your ICP as a kind of umbrella, and then you've got your personas as part of that. The detail that it provides is next level. So it will create the different types of software and tech stack it might be using. It will create competitors for those companies, really in-depth pain points, motivations, all the things you want from a really good ICP. All you've done is a couple of clicks, and it's really, really quick. So I'm thinking, $50 for one ICP is well worth it, because you're going to save a lot of time. We, as an agency, I'm putting myself out of a job here, I'm just realizing that, but we as an agency, we do buyer persona and ICP work, and that involves probably a 2-hour workshop with multiple stakeholders, and then it will take us maybe 3-4 hours to pull together the ICPs. Now it's just a case of this. So when you put that price into context, it saves a lot of money, a lot cheaper than working with an agency. I really should be careful, shouldn't I, with what I'm saying? ChatGPT. So this is, I love ChatGPT. I have ChatGPT 4. I think it's the best £20 I spend all month, considering all the different modalities. But I've written some prompts here that are going to help you. So if you haven't got the $49 or you kind of testing things out at this point, here's a prompt that will also help. So this gives a character, so acting as a marketing consultant. And by the way, if anybody wants these prompts, please let us know, and we can paste them into the chat. Ellie, if you would be okay to copy paste them into the chat from Canva. So yeah, you've been tasked with creating an ICP and 3 buyer personas. If you want 30, that's fine. This is just an example. And then you give details of your business. So where the red comes in, you just add in your own details. So you add in your details of your business, including your USP, if you've got one clearly, current clients, and what you're looking to achieve. So your business goals and time period. Then you give some details of your product, and it's going to create an ICP and personas for you in Markdown to include demographics, psychographics, pains, and then it's going to give you facts and statistics, each with sources. So the reason I've asked for sources, obviously it's quite useful to know, but also with ChatGPT, it can hallucinate. So you're going to need to click on those sources and double check that they're credible and that they're real as well. So we always ask ChatGPT for sources. Okay. Ellie, I can see a lot of stuff in the chat. Is everybody? Oh, you do. Oh, perfect. You're doing the prompts. Fabulous. One step ahead of me. Okay. So the next thing, so that's just a brief look at ICPs and personas. So the next thing is my absolute favorite, and something that we do a lot, is hyper-personalization. So this is, when you get an email and it says, "Hi, Heather, how are things going at Beasting Digital?" And you just think, oh, it's an eye roll moment. It's not impressive anymore. Perhaps when it first came out years and years ago, you think, oh, they know my name, I'm going to read this. Or, even whether you were cynical or not, you'd still probably read it. We now get so much of that. It's even less personal than one without our name and company, I believe. Hyper-personalization is the next level of it. So it is every single line, every single word, every single part of the language is completely personalized to you. And hyper-personalization can happen at any point in the sales process. Again, this could be a two-day webinar just on hyper-personalization itself. So a few examples: custom advertising, unique landing pages. So whenever you go onto a page, it will have your specific pains. It will appeal to you specifically. Recommendation engines, dynamic pricing, of course, which has been around for a while and offers. Omnichannel customer services, sales forecasting, predictive analytics, all great big chunky topics. But what we're going to focus on today is personalized content. So we're a content marketing agency, so we were really excited when AI started to help us personalize content. So we're going to look at 3 different areas. So written outreach, long form content, and video as well. So written outreach. This is one of the most exciting tools. If you haven't heard about it, it is absolutely incredible. So this is Clay, and I believe, yes, of course she is. Ellie's super organized. She's putting all the URLs in the chat for you. This is Clay, and this is a tool to build, qualify, enrich, and outreach. It is everything in one. I can't believe this exists. To be honest, it's a complete game changer. I really should be sponsored actually, but it's not cheap at all. So 2,000 credits, which could be used quite quickly because it's user credit for every step of the process, is $149 per month. Proper use cases, you're talking, sort of 500, 600, 700 pounds a month, but the amount of time you'll save. So the build section, you can get build lists from 50 different data providers, but that includes your own CRM, Google, LinkedIn, pretty much any kind of list building company you can think of, it kind of integrates into it as well. So you can build these absolutely beautiful lists, and then you can enrich them as well. So the amount of ways you can enrich is astonishing too. So you can enrich it, of course, with all the different contact details. You want the work email, it's going to go through 6 different programs to get the correct work email. So it will try Hunter, it will try Apollo, it will try its own one. It will work through all of these different ways to get work emails, and you'll end up with one. So you may need to connect it to existing emails, scraping software if you've got that, but it can do it on its own as well. So it's incredible. So you will get that data one way or another. It can pull off site traffic, social URLs, job listings, all sorts of things. That data can be enriched in so many different ways. It's absolutely staggering. And then qualification. So we spoke about qualification. I think that was the second reason sales cycles are so long, because of unqualified leads. So this gives lots of different ways to qualify. So I think, again, there's about 300 different ways. But some of the most interesting ones I've found is, are they hiring at the moment? Like, you can search for specific job titles all within this platform. What's their tech stack? And it's very specific and very accurate. Revenue growth, headcount, which you can do with other programs. Google review ratings and keywords within Google reviews. You can actually scrape their sitemaps and look for specific keywords. You can scrape pricing pages to kind of qualify for if they could afford you, which I think would be really interesting as well. So there's just so many options with the qualification. So you've got this list, it's beautifully enriched. You can qualify leads, and then you can outreach for cold emails. So it builds these incredibly personalized cold emails that are that have so many different types of data, and will create something that could only be uniquely viewed by them. It only creates cold emails at the moment, but I know a lot of people use LinkedIn for outreach. I think you could very easily take that cold email, and with a prompt using ChatGPT-4, you can convert that cold email into a LinkedIn message. And that's something that we're going to be playing around with soon as well. So yeah, Clay, it's not cheap, but it is amazing, and it's definitely worth. I think you get 1,000 free credits to play around with on the free trial, so definitely worth popping in and having a look around there. So Humantic, one of my absolute favourite, and we use this in our Elite Engage program as well. So Humantic, so whenever you are on the internet and you are writing an article, you're writing a comment, you're posting on something, you are leaving what's called content breadcrumbs, or a bio of you on a website or anything like that. All the little pieces of your digital presence are gathered together by this tool, and it's got such a simple interface. And you think, wow, it's genius. So what it does, it analyzes that internet presence, your content breadcrumbs, and it creates a disc profile and several other different personality profiles of you based on all of that content. So it's judging your personality based on your digital presence. And what it then creates is this really in-depth sales playbook, which can be used for marketing purposes, for ABM. It can also be used for sales enablement. It is absolutely incredible. So it gives details. So this is a tiny little part of it, but it gives details on negotiating deals, closing deals, how to build relationships, language you should use. So what sort of greeting will they respond to? Whether they'll like emojis or GIFs, what sort of structure should you use? Is absolutely incredible. Do's and don'ts during a call or a meeting as well. And initially I thought, oh, this is just going to be, rubbish, isn't it? It's just there's going to be 5 different types and you'll get a random one. Absolutely not. So this is at the crux of our success with our Elite Engage program. So we have hyper personalized our LinkedIn messages using Humantic, and we've got excellent results off the back of it. So we've just made, a couple of weeks ago, Ellie, was it a £10 million sale for one of our clients, Vespertech. Bear in mind, the investment is £5,000 a month. It is really not much to spend for a £10 million sale. And I think I was after about 4 months. Was it 4 months? Yeah. So this is something we actively use. I love it. And again, no sponsorship. I'm rethinking that I should be sponsored. This is basically a big advertisement for them, but it's incredible. I think you get a few credits to play around with on their free trial as well. So just give it a go, pull off your own sales playbook, and see how accurate it is for you. I've had a lot of cynics go, oh, I don't believe in it. I've pulled off theirs and they've gone, oh, actually, okay, it's pretty accurate. So it really helps in the entire sort of marketing into sales flow. So ChatGPT-4 prompt for personalized long form content. So that's just a bit of written outreach. So this is a long form content side. I think my slides are in the wrong order. There we go. So let's start first of all with Seismic. So go tool first, then ChatGPT prompt afterwards. So Seismic is something I've discovered relatively recently, but I found incredibly exciting. So it says, that's what it says on the tin here, quickly creates personalized content for clients. It does many other things. It's a content management platform. So this is more on the automation than the AI side. I think it'd be extremely exciting if they incorporated AI, and I'm going to be speaking to them to see if that's in their plans. But one of the main things this can do relating to what we're talking about today is you can customize presentations at scale. So you can build your skeleton presentation and you can type in a few things, and your client logo is going to be in there. It's going to be changed according to your client pain. The data is going to be changed. The use cases are going to be changed. All of those fiddly bits that really take time from your sales team are removed with this. So it's really exciting. They've also got Live Docs, which is customized data intensive content. So you're talking more sort of ebooks, white papers, all of these content. You invest a lot of money in them being written. If you need any help having them written, that's what we do. But you can invest a lot of money in this base content, and then you can go in and personalize it. So every single person, every single prospect gets a personalized version of that ebook or a personalized version of that white paper, without having to have a copywriter go through and change the angle and change the data everywhere. So it is really exciting. It also helps you show impact and ROI of content. One of the greatest problems in content marketing is ROI. So this is, really exciting. And then it also has these digital sales rooms. So they're collaborative spaces for both the sellers and the buyers to share content as well. So if you're going to say, here is a ebook I've created especially for you, and then you're going to have maybe a dynamic landing page and a dynamic presentation, that can all be in this one sort of digital sales room. So really exciting to play around with on that one. They do not have a free trial, which is very frustrating, but they do really interactive demos. Oh, and we'll go back to that prompt. So that, again, so that's the more expensive. The tools are always the more expensive versions. ChatGPT 4 this is the cheaper version, the more budget version for those who are just playing and kind of having a look at seeing what's available. So for this, the MVP version, you can write a skeleton document aimed at one specific persona. So just go ahead and copyright something as you normally would, whether that's a blog or a ebook. And then you create your new personas. So you could use M1, as we spoke about before, or ChatGPT, if you're using the MVP version of all of this. And then you feed the skeleton into ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite for the new persona. So I've written a prompt for you here as well. So we're asking it to act as an expert copywriter and to read two docs. So the buyer persona that we've generated either via M1 or that ChatGPT, or if you've got a pre-existing one, and then the skeleton document that you've written to. So we say it's a foundation, but you're creating highly personalized and individual versions, and then each one should be personalized to the client and feel personal, as if it were written specifically for them. And you can see how this is going to really, really nurture relationships so much more. You're going to stand out so much from the crowd straight away. Something I always put at the end of prompts when it's relevant is, if there are any areas in the document you'd like me to personalize but don't have the information for, let me know before you write the document. So always having something in that area at the end of a prompt. So if you think there's a better way of writing this, but you don't have the information to do so, ask me the questions you need to ask. That can always really uplift the quality of what you get out. Again, this is something we use in Elite Engage. And we've gone through Seismic. Okay, now we're on to video. So this, prepare to be disturbed and impressed at the same time. So annoyingly on Click Meeting, I can't play videos, but I think Ellie's going to show you. So this first one, so this is Hey Jen. So we've spoken about written outreach. We've spoken about long form briefly. This is now video at scale, personalized video at scale, hyper personalized. So the first one I want to show you is translation. So appealing to different audiences. So this is some French, a French translation. And you'll see, it, annoyingly, the video, because again of Click Meeting, video is not its strength. So we're actually going to add a couple of links to you for LinkedIn posts where you can watch it smoothly. So I've posted these on my LinkedIn recently. So if you click on that link, you can watch a smooth version. But you upload an original video. So just speak to camera. I just use Feed to upload my video. I love Feed. It's dead easy video editing and recording. You pick your language. upload it to HeyGen, and then you download your translated version a few minutes later. And the language is not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than my non-existent French. So I have tried this on so many French people in Miami recently. It's a French client, so they gave us our feedback and said, we understood what you were saying. It is broken in places, but as I say, you're not trying to pass yourself off as having fluent French. You're trying to communicate a message. So nuances may be missed, of course, but this is the first generation of this technology. So always remember, things are a bit bumpy at the moment because we're in the first few months of this existing. But yeah, Ellie's going to play this this French now, or half of it is quite long.
Bonjour, je suis Heather Marie, directeur chez Bisting Digital. Nous sommes une petite agence basée à Birmingham avec pour mission de rapprocher le profit et le but. Nous sommes puissants, grandissons vite, travaillons avec grandes marques, intégrons IA, automatisation et technologies excitantes dans vente et marketing.
Okay, so I think that's come across a bit bumpy, which is annoying because it's actually very smooth. And one of the most impressive things is that it's changing my mouth to talk exactly like me, and you'll see that better. If Ellie, have you posted the links to the videos into the chat? You have, fantastic. There we go. So if you click on the French one, oh, there we go. Rodo lived in France for 5 years, and it's impressive. Wonderful. There we go. And I'm hearing basically that I guarantee it's better than the French I didn't learn at school. But yeah, it's bumpy on here. Click on the LinkedIn to see the version, but it's my own voice, so it's trained. It's given the French my voice and my accent, so it's always got like a Brummie twang to it as well. So I find that just absolutely fascinating. Again, remember, this is the beginnings of this. So the next version, if we head back, oh yeah, actually, that's a better way of doing it, Ellie. So the next version is something I actually only recorded yesterday. This is absolutely brand new, and it's even more exciting. So meet my digital twin. So this is a digital version of me. When you record a video, you have to record 2 minutes of video. You have to be super careful with your hands because it starts to pick this up. So it's sort of repeating your movements. So I'm very, as you've probably noticed, very expressive with my hands. AI doesn't quite know how to do with that. And you can control your twin. So when you've done that, you've then got a digital version of you. You can type in text and it will say whatever you want. So this is a very quick. I'm Heather's digital twin. I've been programmed using HeyGen, and I can be used to personalize at scale. Again, very jumpy, quite annoyingly, but click on the digital twin. I was saying the link can't be found. We'll sort that out. Ellie, if you wouldn't mind just jumping on, that'd be great. Yeah, so the digital twin, or if you just go onto Heather Murray on LinkedIn, and you'll just see it's my last 2 posts, or one from it's definitely in the last few posts that I've done. So you can see the smoothness in those. It's quite frustrating. It's quite jumpy here, but you hopefully get the picture there. So you've got the translation, you've got the digital twin as well. So you can imagine the possibilities and the use cases there. Again, very early with this technology, but you could, fill in a spreadsheet with talking about, the individual pain points of clients that you get from something like Clay, and then send everybody a personalized video of you talking directly to them, and a million other use cases as well. It's just very, very exciting. And then let's move on to a bit of presentation analysis or sales calls analysis. So Sybil is something I use every single day, multiple times a day. It saves me hours every week. So you might now have been seeing the call analysis software that's around. So you've got Otter, you've got Fireflies, Zoom's creating their own one soon, obviously, because they're seeing everybody else using third parties. But Sybil is very different to those. I think it's head and shoulders above the others. So you get your accurate call transcription. So it will record the video for you for a start. You don't need to record it locally or to the cloud. It will do that for you. Then you get a transcription of the actual call. But you get actions to be taken as well off the end of that. So it will automatically pick up, and you don't need to say, this is an action I will be taking for it to understand. It understands language so well that it will pick up when there's an action to be taken. It will pick up pain points as well. So if there's a problem that your prospect is speaking about, it will pick that up. And that often picks up problems that I potentially had missed as well. So that's a really interesting thing. It also picks up conversation starters. So if you start the conversation and they say, oh, it's my daughter's birthday this Sunday, the next time you speak to them, you'll have that reminder to go, oh, how was your daughter's party? And really start building that type of relationship. I always got the hairdresser effect. I always feel like the hairdressers must keep notes. I don't know how they remember all the details, but it will give you that kind of additional way of forming those strong relationships for higher ticket sales. It also analyzes your body language, or your prospect's body language. So if you're presenting slides and they're suddenly looking distracted and they're not interested, it will pick that up. And I was thinking, I actually spoke to the founder and said, well, but other people have to, I've got another screen over here. What if I'm looking at this other screen and it might pick me up as distracted, but actually I'm really engaged? He's programmed that in. But what if I'm looking at my notes because I'm constantly scribbling, even though I've got this AI assistant? It knows about that as well. So it's picked up on genuine distraction, body language, distracted body language. It also picks up if you lean forward and you display positive, smiling, nodding. It's absolutely incredible. So you can start to work through your decks and think, right, okay, well, that individual prospect really leant forward. They really liked that slide. So let's talk about that more in our next call. Let's bring up more of that. Let's try and expand on that topic. They were very distracted there. That's probably a challenge or an objection, or they're just not interested. There's just so much. And it also creates AI generated follow-ups. Again, something else we use in our program. So I just want to show you an example of what that looks like. So this is a call we had with one of our clients recently. There's Ellie and me, and then our client's TGS in France. They're the French people that we were testing the language on. So you can see how it looks here. So we have a transcript on this other side here, which, standard transcript verbatim. And then you have the outcome of the meeting. You have the next steps by person. You have these conversation starters as well. And it's absolutely incredible what it picks up. It's just next level. And then you have, here you go at the bottom. So you've got the green is attentive, blue is talk time. And then you've got some distraction here. So, we have a distracted Ellie. That's unusual. But we've got, so the red is where she wasn't as attentive as she was in the green. I'm sorry, Ellie, I feel like I've put you on the spot. How dare you? But yeah. And then
probably like Googling.
That's
where everything was.
Yeah, to help. Yeah, because we were doing a lot of brainstorming, of course. You're always lovely and attentive. But yeah, so you can see these little circles at the bottom, which are smiles and nods as well. So when you click on them, it skips straight to the part of the video as to what you were talking about. So the level of analysis you can do on that is brilliant. And there's more. So you can also do talk time percentages. So you can analyze the quality of sales calls with yourself or with your team. So talk time percentage. So of course you don't want to be doing all the talking. You want the client or the prospect to be doing as much talking as possible. Filler words. So usage of filler words, sentence lengths, monologue lengths, how many questions you're asking. Next steps, how much you talk about next steps as well and push it along. It will also track empathy. So how many times are you using words that are around the area of empathy? Are you interacting well enough? Are you talking, responding back to what they're saying? It can also pick up tagged words as well. So if you're not mentioning the product that you're selling enough, activity, are you really involved or are you completely away? And then comparing that to different team members, how many calls you've had as well in the day. So there's just so many things you can use. It's excellent. Another thing to use within presentation and call analysis, more as prep, is back to Humantic again, which we've spoken about before. So something we use is a pre-call decision-making unit analysis, which is really exciting. So what that does, so it not only pulls off playbooks, if you input all the people that all the LinkedIn profiles of people that you'll be working with, it will put them into this magic quadrant here. So it will tell you your friendlies, your champions, your skeptics, and your neutrals. So for me, that is when I'm having perhaps a first sales call with a big team of people, that really helps me know who's going to be the person I'm going to need to handle objections with most, who's going to be my champion. But, the people, champions are great. Friendlies, they might seem friendly, but actually, it's maybe a bit of a facade. So how to target people individually, and you can really up your sales game that way. And then you've got your list of do's and don'ts together, which is pulled from the playbook and put into this thing. So you get an email from Humantic just before the meeting saying, here's your quadrant, here's your how to work different members of this decision-making unit, or buyer committee, they call it. So yeah, some really, really exciting tools there. The last topic I wanted to talk about was sales training, because there are some amazing tools, and I know somebody's building a really good one at the moment. It's not quite ready yet. But one that does exist is Quantified. So this is sales training with avatars. So you've just seen my digital twin. So these will be actors who have decided to be to have their likenesses. So there's a video company called Synthesia. This is a sales training version of Synthesia, basically. So you'll have role play simulations, and they will be trained to act like real customers. So you can, of course, tweak that. Are they going to be really challenging? What are their problems? What are their pains? What you're going to try and sell to them? And it can be really, really personalized in. So your sales team are able to sit there and have these these simulations with AI avatars, which I think just feel a lot better than kind of maybe text simulations, and of course a lot cheaper than real simulations. It will give you a behavior analysis of how you act. So this is then going to, in the same way Sybil does, it's going to analyze your body language. So what it sees, what it hears, the type of language that you use. And it's really strong in that you can set goals. You can gamify the certificates. It's a really, really strong program that I think will make a lot of difference to people in sales training. I haven't put the pricing on there. I can't remember what that is actually. But yeah, the website is just in the chat there if you want to go and have a look at Quantified. Again, MVP version, ChatGPT. So this is a prompt that we've used for people for the sales training, So setting up a role play, which is something that people don't often realize ChatGPT can do. So you're establishing a role, you're a sales trainer and I'm your trainee. And then it's going to ask you questions to establish your goals, your issues, and then use training methodology. So I've put in a few here like SPIN, MEDDIC, Miller-Hyman, just some popular sales methodologies. You can put in whatever you use. And you're asking ChatGPT to use these to overcome my challenges. You can have one specific one. You can have somebody who's trained on a role play that's trained on all of them, and they'll pick the relevant one. And we asked for the training to be highly interactive. And at regular intervals, you'll provide me with actionable tasks and quizzes that will help me learn or practice the theory you've taught. So it's really going to build that knowledge. Customer role play exercises can also form part of this. So as well as acting as a trainer, you can also act as a customer to really build that knowledge that you've just learned. And then we've given it a bit of personality. You're going to be positive, engaging, and constructive, and tailor the session to my specific needs. And then we've given it a time at the bottom. So again, all of these prompts are base prompts. They're, original prompts that I've written. You're very welcome. Cut and paste them, tweak them, use them, iterate them, and see how they work for you. Because I think the results can be really quite exciting. You can also now build custom GPTs very easily on ChatGPT, and you could build sort of, sales training GPTs. That's probably for a separate session. But if anybody wants to talk about building custom GPTs, just drop me a message at the end. A few important points before we sort of heading towards a finish. Humans and AI need to work together here. So we are in, as I say, the alpha stage of a lot of this technology, and beta in a lot of ways as well. So this technology has just come out. It's barely been tested. It's exciting and it can do incredible things, but it is also massively flawed in lots of ways. And a lot of people get put off by that. So they'll try a new tool and it won't work immediately, or there'll be something that kind of isn't quite right. It's an iterative process, and that requires humans. So powering humans with AI is so much more powerful than AI alone. And that's where we're going to go forward. So I always say when people ask me the question, is AI going to take my job? A lot. That's something here almost every single day. And my response is always, AI won't take your job, but a human using AI will. And I think that's the best way to think about it. AI is something to embrace and equip ourselves with and use as a tool. It's not something to use as our next point is, it's not a one-click solution. It's not a replacement for a human. It's something to amplify the expertise of a really good human. So you might be able to get more out of that one person because they've got this wonderful tool, but it's not going to replace that person. I can't talk about AI without talking about being careful of your data. So absolutely everything, when it comes to AI, your data is not safe unless you're using a personal version of ChatGPT, or you're using ChatGPT Enterprise, or a program that promises data privacy. Be very careful. So the likes of ChatGPT-4, anything you upload into there becomes in the public domain. So just be very, very careful. I've spoken already about so much being alpha or beta. So something we do is we have a spreadsheet of different AI tools that we're trying, and we just put the tool in, the URL, our little review, and then a date as well, because tools advance, they evolve. You know, something might be a bit scratchy at first, but try it again in 2 months and it'll be something really incredible. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Some are rubbish and some are amazing straight away. And remember to stack tools together, as I said at the beginning. So an example stack that we might use, so we'd probably use Humantic to research a dream prospect. So pull off that sales playbook and get lots of information about the language we should use with them. We then use Sybil to record and analyse our call with them as well. And we'd understand maybe the decision-making unit they're part of. And then we'd use ChatGPT, we'd paste in that transcript to create a really strong follow-up email to that call. We can analyse any missed sales opportunities as well. So Sybil will do some of that automatically, but if you want to go the next level, ChatGPT. And then you could even do a role play and say, right, here's a transcript of my call. Let's have a role play to discuss how I could have improved that, or just give me some notes on how I could have improved that as well. So it's really, really exciting, just stacking tools. So have a play. I think, yeah, it's a really exciting toy, I think, at the moment. Have a play around and see what you can achieve. A lot of people, again, that's probably a second most popular question I'm asked is, how do I get started? For those, so we had a poll at the beginning. I think we're about kind of half people who hadn't incorporated it into their sales process at all. So I wrote this, I call it the optimization mindset. And I believe you should start with AI readiness. So are you ready to actually use AI? Are you just diving into it and amplifying data that isn't strong? You need to start with your data. So what have you got? What knowledge have you got? What information about your clients do you have? You need to organize it and clean it. I think there's going to be a lot of work for data science companies at the moment. You can do a fair amount with using AI itself. You know, this is what I've got, sort it out, analyze it, but make sure that you've got strong data to start off with, because it's whatever you've got is going to be amplified by AI. I highly recommend creating an AI champion, and I'm going to be doing a lot of work around that. So nominating at least one person whose focus it is to work through this optimization mindset and champion and challenge people. Have an AI vision, build an AI vision. So again, this is quite a big thing. It's the basis of a book that I'm writing. So it's I want to talk so much about each and every one, but have an AI vision. So set goals. So if your sales got hitting certain revenue targets, upselling goals, cross-selling goals, maybe lead gen goals, make sure that you're aligning this specific, your vision with those specific goals. Don't be broad or you're not going to actually achieve anything. It's like any other strategy, really. Market scan, so research the AI tools available to solve your pains. So a lot of them have small websites. They've not had a chance to set up SEO properly yet. I reckon, following AI creators on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Matt Wolf is really amazing. Matt Wolf with an E at the end. He's particularly great. There's even whether you work in sales, there's actually a marketing AI show on Spotify, which I think is absolutely brilliant. If I ever feel behind, I listen to an hour of that and I think, right, I'm back on it. And that's, it's very applicable for sales too. So it's just called the Marketing AI Show. But you'll need to kind of establish a way, your AI champion or yourself, if you're a founder, you need to allocate some time to kind of staying ahead of it. So even if it's just half an hour, I also use Artifact, an app, and that gathers all the AI news for me. And I can just quickly read through all the top articles as well. And there's lots of different things. You can use RSS feeds too. So market scan, be aware of what's out there. Testing, so rigorous systemized testing and review of available tools. So like I said, try using this, try using a sheet like we're doing. We just use something on Notion. You could use Google Sheets or Excel, and just keep the tool names, the URLs, your little reviews. Maybe we have also a kind of button, tested and okay, tested and good, might be good in the future, rubbish. Just keep it and just keep filling in. Whenever you try something, keep a record of it. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Stakeholders, so change management. People are fearful, they're worried, they're scared, they're confused, they're overwhelmed. Change management is such a crucial part of this. And with all stakeholders, employee engagement and comms are really important. So we're doing a lot of work at the moment with companies who just want to introduce their employees to the concept of AI. So I've done a lot of talks on this is what AI is, this is AI and machine learning and deep learning, and this is what ChatGPT means, and this is how it works. And that's been really useful and very popular. as have more interactive sessions, like we do promptathons. So we're doing one this Friday for a big a global construction company or aerospace company, sorry. And we've got groups of people, and we're all going to be prompting together to build a sustainable business. And then we've got judges at the end, and they all get cash prizes. And it's really kind of encouraging people to get excited and involved around sort of learning to prompt. So if you have any interest in any of that, let me know. Then training, of course. So training to facilitate that change that you've been talking about, and education. So content around education, allay those fears and that resistance, and help people understand it's humans plus AI. It's a tool for you. It's not going to replace you, unless you're coasting, in which case it may well replace you. I think we've got to be honest. Deployment, gradually introducing these new tools into your everyday operations, which is what we've done. We use 4 or 5 tools regularly, Ellie. I think we're not using hundreds of tools. You pick the ones that you like and you use them, and then you get the value from them. And then monitor impact, of course, like anything else. Review your data, analyze a bias. AI is incredibly biased. It's trained on human data, therefore it's picked up human bias. And continuous improvement. It's a cycle. So that's my mindset, which I think is quite a useful thing. So if you're thinking, where do I start? This gives you a bit of a framework. And I've been talking about Elite Engage all the way through. I just want to kind of tell you about this program quite quickly. So Elite Engage is where we use LinkedIn and AI and people together. So we use AI in a really strategic way. We're not using it for everything. We're not trying to save time. We're trying to improve quality off the back of it. And this is where we've got this £70 million worth of pipeline. And it's going really well. We're getting really good feedback, including from Microsoft as well recently, which was exciting. So a case study that we did, we worked with another agency, and we managed to get £60 million worth of pipeline for Centrica. So they had 40 specific companies that they could work with. So they had an extremely high ticket item. We broke down the decision-making unit for them, and we sent out hyper-personalised messaging. And I'll talk about how it works in a second. An expert copywriter created the messages, so we have a really strong copywriting team, and the result was £60 million worth of pipeline activity in 6 months. They spent 5k a month. Average closure rate, just generally, we applied 20%, so that's nearly 40,000% ROI. We should up our prices, I think, every time I see these ROIs. And then a second case study, slightly more recently, so this was a couple of weeks ago. So we got a 10 million sale for Vespertech, who are a data and technology company. So this was a little bit different. So Centric had 40. They had 1,000 target companies they wanted to work with. And again, we did very hyper-personalised messaging. We did personalised content along the journey. And again, with the expert copywriter creating messages. The result, £10 million, not pipeline. It was a sale. That's wrong. And they spent 4k a month to get there. And a 54,000% return on investment there, so even more exciting. So how it works, what we do, we start off interviewing key stakeholders. So we talk to everybody involved, and we get a really good picture of the business and of the individuals we're going to be running the LinkedIn accounts for. Then we build and enrich a list of dream clients. So it's a really good, already kind of part qualified list of clients anyway. Then we're going to move on to LinkedIn, and we've completely revamped the sales leader profiles. So we will optimize it to within an inch of its life and make sure it acts like a landing page. So we'll optimize. So most of these programs will have 2 or 3 sales leaders profiles. Sometimes we'll work with founders, and they will all be part of this campaign. Then we'll write original engaging posts. So that's where our copywriter comes in. So we use AI, as you see at the bottom, to research and analyze. So we'll use Humantic. And we'll really sort of go to granular levels with the hyper personalization. But when it comes to the actual copywriting, we always use humans. I don't think AI is there yet. So we use a really good high quality copywriter. We've got a good team of them. And then we connect it to dream clients. So we will go through and we will work very carefully. Again, every single bit of content is perfectly personalized, and then we'll engage them with hyper-personalized messaging. And what that equals is a steady stream of MQLs for your sales team. So recently, and this is my favorite testimonial we've ever had, because I wrote the program, the most intelligent version of this type of campaign we've ever seen, and that was Microsoft a few months ago. So as I say, AI, research, analyze, and hyper-personalize, and then we use humans for copywriting, editing, and of course, interviewing. We're not going to send my digital twin into an interview, don't worry. So that's it. If anybody's interested in anything I've spoken about today, please do drop me an email. I'm always open for a chat about AI. Hopefully that was helpful. Do we have any questions, Ellie?
Yes, we do. So Ricky would like to know if you've done any experimenting with Claude in comparison to ChatGPT, and what your thoughts are on it, if you have.
Yeah, so I've found Claude doesn't give as good responses as ChatGPT-4, but up until recently, it had the massive advantage of being 120,000 or 100,000 tokens. So you could put in loads of information. So up until recently, I'd say Claude would have been part of this presentation. So I'd say, get your call transcript from Sybil, put it into Claude, get those results, put them into ChatGPT-4. But now ChatGPT-4 have up to 128,000 tokens deliberately to rub Claude's nose in it. So I haven't seen in my experiments any particular... People have told me that it's better at copywriting. I haven't seen any evidence of that. A couple of people have told me that. Probably more tests to do, but I'm so faithful to ChatGPT-4, I probably would struggle to do that. But yeah, Claude, the only reason I used that was because of the token length, and now that's not a problem.
Cool. And then Don would like to know if you've tried Bard for SEO strategy.
No, I haven't, not yet, no, but I'd be very interested to. Yeah, not quite yet, but yeah, if you want to, I think there's something really interesting happening. There's a company called PenFriend that's coming out, and they are, it's run by Tim Hansen and John Harrison, two both quite big names on LinkedIn, and they're releasing something in a couple of weeks. I've got a beta, I haven't tried it yet, but they'll be creating, so John Harrison's incredible copywriter, Tim Hansen's an amazing SEO guy, expert, both incredible at their field, and they've come together and added AI into the mix to create optimized blogs at scale. So yeah, PenFriend it's called. So I would definitely have a look at that around SEO strategy using AI.
Cool. And then Andrew would like to know, so he says automating long form content is something he's interested in. Is there a way that he can train ChatGPT to replicate his personal writing style? Because he feels that what he's being fed is quite sterile.
Absolutely. Yeah, there really is. So you can, now that we've got this extra token length, you can quite literally just feed information in and just say, here's an example of my emails, build me a tone of voice guide based on this. Or here's an example of my LinkedIn posts, create a tone of voice guide. And then you feed that tone of voice guide back into ChatGPT and it will start sounding much more like you. It's not perfect. In fact, a really good example of that in my ChatGPT for LinkedIn playbook. And that is on in my featured section on my LinkedIn profile. You'll see that. Oh, Ellie's on it already. There you go. There's a link. So if you just put 0 in the box, it's free. And that's a full playbook. And one of the first prompts in there is a really good detailed prompt to train it to sound like you.
Cool. And then Marina has 2 questions. So what can you say about ChatGPT Turbo? And do you think Bard will become better in the future than it is now?
So ChatGPT Turbo is just for developers, and I'm not very techie, so it is outside of my wheelhouse, I'm afraid. So yeah, and all the features that were given to ChatGPT Turbo for developers were given, also a lot of them were given to ChatGPT-4 users. So as a non-technical user, I'm not able to really talk about that. And sorry, what was the second question? Do
you think Bard was better than ChatGPT and then ChatGPT kind of caught up? Do you think that'll switch again?
I don't really, I'm not a massive fan of Bard personally. I've found it hallucinates too much. I think people people have their things, don't they? They find something and they really get to know it and they really stand by it and are loyal to it. But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Bard, to be honest, but I can't see Google hanging around being happy with OpenAI having this huge market share. It's not going to happen. They're releasing Gemini soon. Nobody really knows what Gemini is other than the fact they're teasing it for ages and it's going to be huge. So that is going to be something to keep an eye on. It was meant to be released in this month, but I haven't seen anything about it yet. They love to release things. So I think ChatGPT came out November last year. So keep an eye out on Google because they will not rest on their laurels now. There's no way in hell. They're not good. Because think about it, people are starting to use ChatGPT instead of Google. They're losing their market share. So yeah, keep an eye on them.
People are definitely doing something as well because my Gmail has been a nightmare this week. It's
usually
so yeah, I've got like no evidence based on patterns from the past, but I would say in the next week or so they're going to release something, because it's just Google Drive and Gmail has been a nightmare. And then the final question was from Elliot with a link to the PenFriend website, but Dom's kindly done that for us.
Oh, thank you, Dom. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let them know I promoted it in here unexpectedly. Perfect. Okay, well, hopefully that was helpful. As I say, there's my email. Please feel free to email me or connect with me on LinkedIn and drop me a message there. Thanks very much, and I will speak to you all soon.
Oh, bear with one sec. So Dom's got one final question. Is the database for ChatGPT still based on data up until 2021?
Oh, April 2023 now. So it's getting there. Yeah, that was the latest update a couple of days ago, up till April 2023. No problem, Dom.
Okay.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks.